I just got down on my knees and begged this woman. And this woman has told me that they can't help me. And I remember telling myself that I would never, ever allow another person to dictate my income. I walked in my house, I looked around and I said, okay, I got to make something shake. I had about $300 to my name. And I went on Google. I started thinking, like, what can I do? Let me tell y'all something. You will always be nervous that it won't work out. Even when it's working out, you are going to have days where you wake up and you ask yourself, okay, how long is this run going to be? Right? How long do I really have? Hi, this is Ronne Brown, and you are listening to Dreams and Drive.
Hey, Dream Drivers, welcome to episode 292 of the Dreams and Drive podcast. And today, our guest is Ronne Brown. Ronne is the CEO of Girls CEO Incorporated and Shop Herlistic, and she helps women develop and build brands that make money online. She's also the host of the Girls CEO podcast, and I'm super excited for you all to hear Ronnie's story. Ronne is very transparent about how she was able to go from a teenage mother who was really hustling and trying to make life work to realizing that she was not going to let her life be on the terms of other people. You'll hear her story of that pivotal moment in her life that caused her to branch into entrepreneurship and figure out how she can make a way for herself on her own terms. Ronne gives us lots of business insight, lots of personal development strategies that have helped her over the past decade grow her brands and grow her businesses, and also help other women grow their brands and businesses online as well. And if you love this episode, you know what I'm going to say. Please make sure that you are sharing it online on social media, Instagram stories, post it, tag Dreams and Drive, and let people know that you are enjoying all the Dreams and Drive fuel that Ronne is giving away today for free to all of our Dreams and Drive listeners. We are Dreams and Drive across the board on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so make sure you're following us there as well. And make sure that you subscribe to Dreams and Drive wherever you're listening so that you get notifications every time we have a new episode. All right, let's hear from Ronne.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
I am super excited. I always love when I get to have guests on the show that we are connected in another way. So I actually met Ronne backstage at Michaela Matthews of Side Hustle Pro, her Side Hustle Pro Live. I think you were like helping her guest, Maya Elias. Like you and Maya are friends, right? So I think you were just chilling with Maya backstage, and we were able to connect. So that's our connection there, guys. If you're wondering.
Yeah, I was getting, Maya was getting some free labor from me. Maya and I are friends. And one of the things that I love about women who are, I call them girl CEOs instead of bosses, right? But it's like we know how to put you to work. If you're around us, you're going to get put to work. All right. And Maya put me to work that day. And she's like, yeah, I'm coming to DC. Next thing I know, I'm helping Maya pick out outfits, find a makeup artist. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I feel like that's the power of having a tribe. And you really do need that, like, womanhood, that sisterhood, right? Like, because if you can't call your girls for something, if we can't support each other, then what's the point, right?
For sure. And that's how it should be. One of the things that I just always suggest is making sure that you are connecting with successful women, but also making sure that you are connecting with successful women who are not too successful to even serve you in a time of need.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, don't always, like, especially in the beginning, don't try to connect with the people who are like 5 steps ahead of you. Sometimes you also got to connect with the people that might be 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, but you all can help each other at the same time. You know what I mean? And then you watch, or you're there when the glow up is together. I always think of like the Issa Rae story. She hired her day ones and they kind of all glowed up together. Just even seeing the blossoming of like Insecure and how all those like actors that she had in the show were like first time actors, right? And now look at them. So it really is a testament to what you said.
For sure.
So I love to start our interviews going back in time, right? I think it's really important for us to reflect on who we were as children and kind of just seeing how that plays out to who we are today. So if I had to say, the young 7-year-old Ronne, what was inspiring you about the world? What was lighting you up? What did you think you were going to be as an adult? Like, what was that? Take me inside the brain of the younger Ronnie.
All right. So are we going back to childhood days?
Yeah, like I want to know about like childhood. Then we'll talk about like adolescent and about like young Ronnie. What was the dream for you?
Yeah. So actually, growing up, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this. I wanted to be a singer, and I used to spend most of my time singing with my music teacher, who got me into singing. And I used to sing at all the graduations for school. I also used to sing at all of the assemblies. Do y'all remember assemblies, honey?
Yes, yes.
I just knew that I was going to be a singer. I loved singing, and that was one of my dreams.
That's so interesting. I feel like a lot of guests on my show have like these hidden talents that nobody knows about, right?
Yes.
You still sing today or not?
I still sing in the shower for fun, all that stuff, but I'm not as serious as I used to be. But yeah, I do. It's something I do when I'm by myself now.
So you wanted to be a singer, right? So I'm guessing you love like entertainment and that type of stuff. So how did that pan out as you grew into a young adult? Were you able to fulfill those dreams, or did the world change for you?
Yeah, well, I kind of started to go in that direction. I used to do, I used to write a lot of songs, and I used to go to the studio, and I was trying out. I don't know if you all remember this. This is like back in the day, but I remember when Diddy came here and he was interviewing for the making of the band. Do y'all remember that?
Yes, I remember Making of the Band. Yes.
And he came to Howard University, and I used to work at Howard. I used to do the contract management there for their general counsel department. And I never forget, trying out, and I had made it past like the first round or something.
Okay,
you had to sing you had to sing the Star Spangled Banner, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. But I did a lot of, backup singing for like little local rap groups, and oh my God, yeah. And then I just was like, is this what I want to spend my life doing? I had children. I had to start making some income for my kids like immediately. And I just started to get to work,
Yeah, I was going to say that because I know you were, you had like your first child when you were young, right? Like you were a teenager.
I had my first kid at 16 years old.
So how was that?
Grown.
Well,
it's being grown.
But were you nervous? Because I could only imagine. So I had my first kid at 29, right? So I have one son. So it's like I couldn't imagine what it must have been like to be a teen mom. What was your what was your game plan? Were you like, hey, I'm not going to let this hold me back? Or did you feel like those first, few years as being a mom were difficult to navigate?
Oh, well, the first thing is it was scary as hell. Let me just say that, right? Yeah. I hid my pregnancy until I was 6 months pregnant. And I used to hide my stomach with this little fanny pack that I would wear in front of my stomach. I was in denial. I remember I used to wake up every morning and I used to look at me. I'm like, I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And I had not had my period like 3 months, 4 months. And I was just in denial. And then my stomach started to get bigger and bigger. My parents did not find out until I was 6 months and 4 weeks.
Wow. And what was, you were still in high school then, I'm imagining, right?
Yeah, I was in high school. I grew up in the inner city. Shout out to everybody that's listening to this that is from the DMV. Okay. Shout out to y'all. But I went to Dunbar Senior High School, and there was a thing that was going on during that time. And believe it or not, my school was a school that really worked and helped teen moms. And there was a daycare center for all of the moms who had children in high school. And I will never forget, how blessed I was to be a part of that program. You could literally, bring your kids there and they will watch your kids during the day so that you can get your education. And it was free. And you would go and have lunch with your kid, during lunchtime. And it was just one of those things that I cannot imagine how hard it would have been if that program was not in place at Dunbar Senior High School. And they were also very intentional with teaching motherly skills and things of that nature. But being a teen mom, it was hard as heck. I grew up in the projects of DC. A lot of people just kind of know the White House and the monument, but there are a lot of projects in DC. And I grew up in the projects. And it was different. It was very different. I struggled. There were moments where I was trying to figure it out, what we were going to eat for dinner and all of that stuff. My parents were separated. And I was really trying to learn how to be a mom. And I learned on the fly, and my mom was there to support me. And I had a great dad as well. But yeah, it was just one of those things where you don't know until you know.
Listen, I'm feeling that too. My son is 15 months old, right? I'm like, listen, there is no what's the word? There's no manual for motherhood, right? And you learn a lot about yourself. Like, what do you think during this time, this period in your life, right? What were you learning about Ronne and Ronnie's potential? Like, what were you seeing about yourself or skills that you were really saying, hey, I could really do something with this?
Well, the first thing that I would say is when you are a parent, baby, you have to learn how to juggle a whole lot of stuff at one time. And I really had to learn how to juggle. I had to learn how to multitask. I had to learn how to make things work. They say that motherhood is the most dangerous hood that you will ever live in. And let me just say that during that time, I learned to be selfless because as a mother, you have to be selfless. You wake up and you realize it's no longer about me. I remember getting clothes and shoes and gifts and stuff for Christmas as a 16-year-old kid. Believe it or not, you're still looking for Christmas gifts at 16.
You're still a kid, essentially, yeah. Right?
I'm picking out, I'm making the list, checking it twice, trying to send it to my mom. And my parents are like, no, you're done. It's about your son now. And that's when I realized that I had to shift my focus, and everything that I did, it was no longer about me. It was about my son. And I had to change my perspective. I had to get over myself. And I think that it was probably one of the best things, looking back, you see things and you're like, wow, that was probably one of the best things that happened to me. But when you're in it, you're like, oh my God, my life is falling apart,
But it taught you a lot, right? And those are lessons that you can only learn by going through it. Like, you can't read about it. You can't you only really learn it when you're going through it and once you come out of it, right?
Yeah, because when you are a mother, you have to learn to put the feelings, to put the emotions, and to put other people before yourself. Yeah. And that is a life skill that so many people have to learn. And even to the people who are listening to this podcast and you're not a mother, one of the most important things that you're going to have to learn if you want to be successful in business is how to serve and care and nurture other people.
Yep.
It will change your life.
I'm going to make a note of that. We're going to come back to that. But I want to know, what was the point for you, right? Because entrepreneurship wasn't always, you said you wanted to be a singer, right? And now you are a successful entrepreneur. What was the moment where you're like, yo, I need to change my life?
Well, the I need to change my life started for me very soon. Because after I had that baby at 16, I had another baby at 19. Okay. And I had to change my life. I was one of those people that I just knew that there was more for me, but I knew that if it required me getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and leaving my house and having my kids ready and going out in December when it was 19 degrees outside, it wasn't my thing. Like, it wasn't going to be for me. Right. So very early on, I realized how important freedom and flexibility was to me. And let me just stress, I worked in corporate America. I have my paralegal license. I've always worked at a lot of law firms. Okay. Most of my mentors are now attorneys that have been in business for 15, to 20 years. I started working at a law firm at 19 years old. And I had relationships with so many attorneys, and I worked in corporate America. And one of the things that a lot of people do not talk about is how inconsiderate corporate America is when it comes to being a mother.
Listen, let me amen to that.
And they don't talk about the faces you get when you put in time for leave. They don't talk about how people think you're a deadbeat employee when you need to go to school activities. They don't talk about how it is being a mom of multiples and surviving corporate America and the bullying and, just all the stuff that you go through when you have to take 3 kids to a doctor's appointment in one day. Or when one person gets sick in your house and the whole house gets sick as well. There is no consideration.
Yeah. Were you tired of it? Like, was that a moment for you where like, I can't stay here?
Yeah, that was it for me. Honestly, I remember being pregnant with my daughter and driving to work. I was dead ass broke. I had dead tags on my car. I would never forget this. And I was about 8 to 9 months pregnant. And I will never, ever forget, driving to work and not knowing that was going to be the last day that I had that job. And I got there. I was sick as a dog. Okay. Can we just also acknowledge how serious pregnancy sickness is? It will blow your mind.
Really? You don't know tired till you pregnancy tired. You don't know sick until you pregnancy sick. Okay.
For sure. And I was one of those people that had the throwing up all the way through. And when I say all the way through, I mean all the way through. So I'm getting there and I will never forget being about 2 minutes late for work. All right. Y'all follow me. I'm 2 minutes late for work. I'm almost 9 months pregnant. Everything on my body is swollen from my ankles to my toes. Okay. I'm out here looking like a baby elephant. All right. And I'm wobbling into my job. And I would never forget my supervisor at that time, tall Caucasian woman, calls me into the office and tells me that I am late and that they have a no late policy at the job. I'm a new employee. Okay. And she says that they're going to have to terminate me on the spot. I get down on my knees. I'm 8 months pregnant. Christmas is around the corner. Literally, it's like 2 weeks away from Christmas. And I beg this woman to please let me keep my job because I had an apartment. I had children. Christmas was around the corner. My tags were already dead because I was broke as a joke. Okay. And I really needed that money. And she told me that, okay, they would give me another chance. Right. And I worked the whole day. And I would never forget that at 5 o'clock after I finished working, she called me in the office and she told me that they had to make another decision and they had to go back on their word. And I remember walking out of that job. And baby, when you go through something serious, let me just tell you, when you get in that car, honey, and you turn that radio off, baby, that is the longest ride home. When you ride home with that radio off, you going through some things. Okay. That's when you start processing.
You're talking to yourself.
You start talking to yourself. Exactly. Honey, you start talking to yourself. And I was thinking, that's it. And then I thought back, like, I just got down on my knees and begged this woman. And this woman has told me that they can't help me. And I remember telling myself that I would never, ever allow another person to dictate my income. I walked in my house, I looked around and I said, okay, I got to make something shake. I had about $300 to my name. And I went on Google. I started thinking, like, what can I do?
What year was this? I just want to give a context.
This was 2009.
Okay.
2009. Okay. And I looked around my house. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I remember reading a book. I was, even then I was into personal development, right? I had these little audio CDs. I'm going to take y'all back. Mind y'all business. I'm a little older than y'all, okay? But we had the little CDs that you would put into your car and you would listen to them. And I had spent a lot of time listening to these CDs, right? Back then, like everyone was kind of, listening to like Napoleon Hill and, those type of personal development books and CDs. And I remember hearing saying like, do what you love. What do you enjoy? And I looked around my house and I was like, okay, what do I have in here? What do I have a lot of? And I had a whole lot of candles everywhere and skincare products. And I went on Google and I Googled, how do you make candles? And then I Googled ingredients for candles, vendors for candles, right? Vendors for supplies. And I started making candles and I started making beauty products. And that was my first experience with entrepreneurship and selling a product. And I rode around the city selling these candles and scrubs and skincare products out of the trunk of my car. I paid people to, set up dinner tables wherever I went. I used Facebook and PayPal buttons. Y'all mind y'all business. Y'all know about PayPal buttons. This is when you used to make a button in PayPal and paste that thing on Facebook. Okay. And back then everybody was just on Facebook because they were in college. I didn't go to college. But I used it to get in front of the college people and, the people who were on there who were professionals. And that is when my journey, that's how it began. It began with rejection.
Were you ever nervous that it wouldn't work out?
What? Let me tell y'all something. Best friends. You will always be nervous that it won't work out. Even when it's working out. You are going to have days where you wake up and you ask yourself, okay, how long is this run going to be? Right? How long do I really have? You are going to have moments when you wake up and you ask yourself that.
And then what did you do to kind of to keep the momentum going, right? Because were things like, were you successful with this candle business, right? Or did you realize, all right, I might have to pivot. Okay, I could do candles. Maybe there's something else. Like, what was the next few steps in your journey like?
Well, let me just say this. You don't know how far things are ever going to go for you. Let me just start there. Because, you don't know that. You may think that you're successful, but what I will say is, you don't know what success is at that time, right? Because if I could be honest, that was a season where, I literally thought that success was me selling a few candles,
Yeah. And it turned out to be like, now looking at your success, you realize that you could never imagine where you are now, right? Back in 2009.
Oh my goodness. Let me just say that let me say this. Success for me during that season of my life was making enough money. All right. Let's be honest. Let's be honest for those who are just stepping into entrepreneurship. All right. And let's just be very transparent, because some of us right now, some of you all who are listening to this, you are in a space in your business where you quit your job or you lost your job and you are in survival mode. Okay. Survival mode as an entrepreneur is 100% different from thriving in business, right? So when you are, in survival mode as a new entrepreneur, you are literally trying to feed your kids. Success is you making enough to order a pizza, right? That's what success looks like when you are in survival mode. It's like, okay, I made enough to provide dinner to my kids, right? It's like, okay, I made enough to pay my electric bill this month. Okay. I made enough to avoid getting freaking kicked out of my apartment. Like when you are in survival mode, success is different. So when you are starting a business, honestly, when you are in survival mode, success is making it to another month. When you make it to another month, you're like, oh shit, like I made it. I'm successful. But as you grow and you evolve, you understand that, okay, I've made this money, but I now need to take this money and I need to put this money back into my business so that my business can grow. But when you are in survival mode and you're just starting off as an entrepreneur, you move a lot differently. You're in desperation. I remember putting up posts begging people to share my stuff. I used to get so upset trying to get my friends support. Like success, when you asked me what was my definition of success back then, it was literally surviving.
So what are you dreaming of? Adventure, more family time, a change of scenery? The nerds at NerdWallet can help you take the first step towards making your dream a reality. NerdWallet is a personal finance site run by money nerds who make it easy to compare and find the smartest financial products for you. So let's say you want to book an adventure beyond your backyard. NerdWallet can help you compare and find travel rewards credit cards so that you can use everyday purchases to rack up on points for flights, hotels, and more. Or maybe you want to spend more quality time with your fam. As dream drivers, that's important. NerdWallet can help you compare and find financial advisors so you can find less time watching investments and more time with the kids. They've got tools, calculators, and side-by-side comparisons to help you find the smartest products for you so you can turn your dreams into reality. Personally, my 2022 goal is scaling dreams and drive, so I can use NerdWallet to compare hundreds of the top credit cards and investing accounts. NerdWallet makes that super easy. Are you ready to compare your way there? Compare and find the smartest credit cards, investing accounts, and more at nerdwallet.com. NerdWallet Compare Incorporated, NMLS 1617539. NerdWallet is not an investment advisor nor an investment broker. Information is for educational purposes only. Welcome to an aha moment along your dream driving journey. This aha episode of Dreams and Drive is brought to you by AHA. Before you ask, what are you talking about? Please allow me to explain. Our partner for today is AHA Sparkling Water, and I want to tell you a little bit more about the brand, but we're going to be using some of these AHA moments along the way to help you understand. AHA is a bold sparkling water with a 2-in-1 flavor combination in every kahan. So some of your flavor combinations can include blueberry and pomegranate, lime and watermelon, or peach and honey. That peach and honey does sound good because I definitely love those two flavors. And some flavors like mahango and black tea are even caffeinated with caffeine. Look for AHA anywhere you buy sparkling water and get your hands on some today. You'll probably wonder how you ever lived without it, and I know it sounds too good to be true, but it's not. There's a good chance that you'll never want to drink any other sparkling water ever again. AHA sparkling water. Can I get a AHA? What was the shift for you though? Like, what did you do to take yourself from survival mode to thriving, right? Like what changed in the business that got you to the survival, to thriving mode?
Personal development. Personal development got me to where I am today. 100% personal development, right? When you initially start in entrepreneurship and you have your first run of success, you really think you know it all. And the truth is, you don't know shit, right? You think you have all the answers. You have your first run. You probably make your first $1,000 or a few $1,000s, and you're telling people, I'm making $1,000 or a few $1,000s a month. I did this. I have this going on. You don't have anything going on, right? You don't know what building a real business looks like, because the first thing is, a real business is just not you, right? A business is when you're running payroll and you actually have employees that can live off and depend on your company for financial stability. And in order for you to be a leader, and a lot of people say, a boss, and I never say boss, because bosses just tell people what to do. They boss people around. But leaders have the ability to make people want to do what the leader is asking them to do. Like, they have a desire. You want to be a part of it, right? So personal development is the thing that makes you attractive, because once you master personal development, you'll get out of wanting to be a freaking boss to really learning how to be a leader. A leader makes people want to be a part of whatever they have going on. They know how to build momentum. They know how to build teams. They know how to create movements. And that's the difference. So personal development and being coachable got me to where I am today.
No, I think I was reading one of your interviews that you did. It's like, you said that if you could go back in time in the beginning, you would have spent, I think, 90% of your income on like mentorship, right? Or you would have gone back and really even invested more in that.
100%. Like, some of the dumbest things that I've done when I initially started business was spend money on designer stuff.
Not even on the business, right? You were like, listen, I'm about to live life. I'm about to look good.
Yeah. I remember making my first $100,000 a month, and I was out of town with some of my business partners and my best friend. And I forgot where we were, but there was a mall in the store. And I would never forget going into the mall and buying a Louis Vuitton bag and then buying a Gucci bag in the same day, honey. Okay,
girl, you was balling.
Listen, same day. And I would never forget, 2 weeks after that, I had to go visit my accountant. And she was like, looking at she keeps my books because she's my bookkeeper and my accountant. And she was she's like, can you come around here? We have a very good relationship. And she's like a mentor to me. She's like, come around here real quick, Ronnie. I want to look at some of your transactions. And she's like, all right, so you got a Gucci here. You have Louis Vuitton here. Oh, she's like, oh, this is the same day. She's like, oh, this is the same day. You are just feeling yourself, girl. And I started laughing. At that time, you think, oh yeah, I got it going on. Gucci, Louis, same day, girl. I can do that. I'm making $100,000 a month, right? And she asked me, she said, so, do we have any stock in Louis Vuitton or Gucci? And I'm looking at her like, what? What the hell are you talking about? Like, is she trying to be funny here? She's like, I'm just curious. Do we have any stock in Louis Vuitton or Gucci? And I was like, no, I don't have any stock. What the hell what are you talking about? Right?
Was she a Black woman?
Oh, my accountant and my bookkeeper is a Black woman.
Okay. And
she is a debt-free Black woman who lives in $1 million home that is paid for. Okay. And when it comes to financial literacy. She does not play. And she has always attempted to remind me to do different things with my money. But, I'm having my first run, girl. I'm ready to ball out till I fall out. I'm ready to get my Louis, my Gucci. And then I remember at the end of the meeting, she told me, she's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and just get everything together for your yearly taxes. I told you to pay them quarterly, but you didn't. She's like, so let me give you the total. And the total was 100. She's like, you owe $100,000
in taxes.
In taxes. I had made over $1 million that year. Okay. I had not paid a penny of taxes. Okay. She told me to pay my taxes quarterly. I ditched and dodged the hell out of her the whole year. I did not write the checks. They were looking for me, honey. I was sending her calls to voicemail. I was avoiding her. And baby, I owed over $100,000. And this is why, one of the things that I will also stress to all of the listeners that are on here is that you have to make good money decisions. Because I will never forget having to sit in that office and write a check for $100,000 and barely having 200 saved up.
Wow.
I had the audacity I look back, honey, I sat there and said, should I take these damn bags back? I might need to take these goddamn bags
back. They allow you to return at those stores? I mean, I wouldn't even know.
Honey, I didn't take them back. Listen, I just worked harder. But I learned from that situation that if you want to be successful, you need to take care of your foundational things first. You have to make sure that your taxes are paid on time. Like, I don't play with it when it comes to my taxes now. I'm not behind on my taxes. I pay my taxes every single year. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I don't play around with that. I don't play around with my mortgage. You know what I'm saying? I don't play around with the foundational things because I've learned the hard way. Growing up as a kid, I was evicted from my apartment in high school. I would never forget that. I lived with my dad and we got evicted. I remember coming home on a school bus and all of my furniture being out on the curb.
Wow.
And people ask me, like, why do you work so hard? I'm like, baby, I'm traumatized. Okay. I am never going back to that. And anything that looks close to that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's like that's what fuels you, right? Because you know where you came from. And you know that, like, that's the past is supposed to be the past for a reason, right?
Honey, that part. It's that part.
But you know what? Before, as we wind things down, I could not have you on the show and not talk about, so you mentioned this earlier, right? Like another big part of business is nurturing and caring for your people, right? You talk a lot about, you have Herlistic, you have Girl CEO, you have these brands with, hundreds of thousands of followers or people really are invested in you. What can you give? What tips can you give our listeners who are really struggling to build that online community, right? They think they have this great idea, but if nobody knows about your idea, if nobody's buying from you, right? Like you don't have a business. So like, what are your key tips for really nurturing and building your audience online? Because that's the thing. You could have the best idea, the best product, but if nobody's selling, if it's not selling, right? If you're not building, if you don't have an audience, then what do you have?
I am so glad that you brought this up because I meet so many people who have great ideas. And this may sound crazy to someone who is just starting off, okay? And is just like, well, I have this great idea. I'm trying to make sure I say this in a really, no, let me say it in a Ronnie way. No one cares. No one cares. They do not care how good of an idea you have. They don't care how good it looks. You can have a great idea. You can have a great product. You can have great presentation. No one gives a shit. If you don't have an audience that you've dated consistently, and I'll break that down because you have to date your audience. You have to show up consistently. You have to talk to them. You got to be there with them. You got to be consistent. You have to be visible. They have to see you regularly. The same way you get in these relationships in real life, you have to date your audience to build that relationship and to build that trust with them. If you don't have the community and you don't have the audience, you can have $1 billion idea in your mind, in your hand, in your possession, and it will not, when I tell you it will not flourish, it will not go anywhere. All right? No one will buy into it. I'm telling you, you will be sick. And that's just how this works. That's how this works.
Is that the same thing of like building a personal brand? Like, do you have to be the face of the brand, I'm asking, or do you just have to, in whatever way, figure out how to date your audience? I think a lot of people get tied up with that. They're like, I don't want to be the face of my brand on social media promoting whatever it is. Like, is there ever a way to get around that?
Yeah, so let me just say this, okay? You really have to pay attention with how marketing has changed. All right. Marketing has changed a whole lot. All right. Marketing used to be, you can hide behind the logo. You can hide behind the brand. You can hide behind the name of the company. That used to be something that you could do. Right. Unfortunately, people are a little different now. Okay. You cannot hide behind these brands and these logos and, all this stuff anymore because people literally want to know. They want to know who you are. People want to know what you believe in. They want to know what you stand for. Okay. People want to know all of those things. They want to know what you stand for as a business owner. All right. That's just what it is. And I believe that years ago, we can make these businesses and, we can make these brands and no one will have to see our faces. All right. Well, right now, people want to know, well, who owns this company? What does she believe in?
Yeah.
Right? Does she believe in justice? Right? Does she believe in diversity and inclusion? Right? Does she believe in wealth? Does she believe in women being able to thrive? Okay. Is she supportive of this community? Like people want to know who they're spending their money with and what those people believe in. So can you be a personal brand and thrive? The best thing that you could be right now in business is a personal brand and have a personal relationship with your audience. The hardest thing that you can do is disappear and hide behind a product or a company and no one knows who you are. You're gonna work your ass off trying to go down that route. It's gonna be one of the most difficult things that you do because people are buying into people now. They're not buying into your logo anymore. That's over.
Yep. And it's also so much, it's so much clutter, especially with social media. Like there's so much, people need to find a reason why. And at the end of the day, like you said, relationships are what fuel the world, right? Mm-hmm. So if they feel like they have a relationship with you, then it's kind of like for me, right? Like I don't know if you follow her. I follow like Myleik Teele, right? For the longest, I followed her online. But I feel like, oh wait, I've watched her become a mother, and now I'm a mother. So like, I feel like we have things that we could connect to. Although I've never met her, right? I've never talked to her, but there's like this virtual relationship connection in my head.
Yeah. Let me just say, someone who does that and they do it so well, and they are just themselves. Okay. The person who does that is Super.
Oh, yes.
No one can touch
yes.
her when it comes to, you can't say a name on this podcast that can compare to the relationship that she has with her audience. And the great thing about her is she doesn't even come off or try to come off as this expert teacher or coach or any of that stuff. She just comes off as herself. And because she just shows up and, she's not showing them saying, oh, let's talk about how to make $1 million today, right? She may do that here and there, but she's just like, yeah, we getting dressed. We about to go have some fun today. You are literally just plugged into behind the scenes. She is authentic and she is herself. Okay. And there is no script, with it. There's nothing. She just showing up like, y'all, today I'm in my kitchen with my robe on. I'm cooking. It is like, come on in, cousin. It gives you that vibe. And I think that she has mastered that. And if you all really pay attention, people who can show up as themselves. I'm on here looking crazy.
Think about the whole Cardi B, how Cardi B came up, right? Like she's a perfect example. People want to and they'll appreciate the glow up when you glow up, and when you glow down, they're still riding with you too, right? They're not like, they don't always want to see the pretty. And I think that's what people have realized. Like, they know when they're being marketed to, right? They know when something is a sponsor post. Like, they want to see the real you. And like, what advice though, Ronnie? Because I know there's somebody listening who's like, but like, I try to show up and people still don't, respond. I've been doing this personal brand marketing and nothing's still moving for me.
Well, the first thing that I would say is that if you're keeping record of, I'm doing this and no one's showing up, or I'm doing this and, no one's buying from me, 90% of the time you're being fake. Because when you're just showing up being yourself, you're doing it with no expectation, right? There is no promise or no guarantee, and there is no expectation. Okay. You are literally just showing up as yourself, being true and authentic to who you are. Okay. When you are scripted, let me just tell you, we can tell scripts, right?
Yeah.
I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'm just going to be just a little funny. I am so tired of seeing fake surprises. Okay.
You mean fake, like what type of surprise?
Fake surprises where it's like, oh my God. But there are 500,000 cameras there. You aren't surprised. Y'all planned this, right? We can tell when things are genuine because you don't have a camera in your hand and you're not walking in the door with the phone recording, and there isn't, a cameraman documenting every moment. Like, people can tell when you're foolish and when you're not, when you are just being you. When you walk in and you're surprised and you're shocked at something, 9 times out of 10, you are not going to have your phone in your hand recording it. Because when I'm not expecting something, I don't have my camera out. Okay. Exactly. I need you all to just show up, just be you. When you're surprised, somebody else might catch it, but you don't have the camera in your hand. We have to learn that people can tell when things are true and authentic and when it's just content for your feed. Yeah, I can tell content from a mile away.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And I hope this conversation gives somebody the courage to just go ahead and try again and take down those walls, those veils, or like trying to be perfect. Just try. Like this week, if you listen to this week, just try to show up as your authentic self and see how that works. It's so funny because like even my Instagram stories, the ones that I think are so random and just like, you know, things nobody will care about, those are the ones that people actually respond to. And I'm just like, wait, what? You know? And you'll build your tribe, which is what you said. Like you want to build the tribe of people who actually care about what you're talking about. Like don't care about the people who aren't responding to you, right? Those are not your tribe. Those are not your people.
And let me just go ahead. I was just also going to add, and then even down to feeling like you have to be all put together all the time, right? Let me just say this for the women, the moms that are on here. One of the things that I always stress when working with new women that come into my coaching program is that these women that you are trying or comparing yourself to, they're getting up every day, right? And they have full production teams, okay? And they're making stage content and they're cleaning up areas of their homes. And it's a lot, right? That is not what real life looks like, okay? Real life looks like you not having it all together. Your face is not going to be beat every day. You're not going to be glamorous every day. And it's okay to show up together. But I think that people will also appreciate seeing you looking like you tired as hell sometime because you just don't always look like that, right? Yep. So I want to stress a lot of women come to me like, man, her content is just so this. And they have their pages that they have ready, you know, to show me that they want to mimic. And I'm just like, that's not reality. So I want to stress for all of you all who are saying like, you know, I'm not getting the results. What am I doing wrong? The first thing that I'm going to say is most of you all have not even been doing what you've been doing for 5 years. Okay. I've been posting on Instagram for over 10 years because we skipped over the question. We skipped over the responses question. You need to be ready to give anything that you are wanting to do 10 years. That's the first thing. All right. So if you're 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, have several seats and continue to follow through. That's the first thing. Okay. The second thing that I'm going to suggest is that you make sure that you are showing up with your authentic voice. A lot of times when I follow people, I can tell who they're trying to be. I can tell who they're trying to mimic. I can tell who they're trying to copy. All right. That's the second thing. The third thing is invest in a team. Before you buy your new car, before you buy your dream house, right? Before you go Chanel crazy, invest in support staff, delegate and hire people and pay them what they are worth. And don't just pay your cousins and stuff like that. Pay experts. If you're trying to blow up on TikTok, hire somebody who specializes in TikTok content. All right. If you're trying to automate your business, hire someone or do a contract with that person or go on Fiverr. All right. And get somebody who specializes in automation, funnels, and hire that person. Okay. And then last but not least, you need to spend money for visibility. All right. Either you're going to make good content to get in front of people or you're going to pay to be seen. It's just that simple. There's no way around it. Those are your options if you're not getting the results that you want.
Oh, I love those. I love those. Thank you so much, Ronnie. I wanted to ask you this because we didn't, I know that you are in a new spot in your business. Like 2022 is around the corner. When this airs, it will be 2022, right? What's next for Ronnie? Like, what do you foresee on the horizon? Like, what are things that you personally are looking to achieve for yourself, both personally and professionally?
Well, let me just say this. 2022 is going to be the best year. One of the best years of my life. Let me just stress that. I have a lot of things that are happening. You guys are going to get to see my podcast, the Girl CEO podcast. We are going to go digital and we are going to have a lot of live interviews with different CEO women who are dominating their lanes. That's the first thing. The second thing that is going to take you by storm is the fact that Herlistic, which, is a plant-based product line for women who prioritize self-care, is going to be one of the biggest Black-owned plant-based beauty and wellness brands that you see. You know, you're going to see our products everywhere, our skincare line, our wellness products, and you're going to see women talking about them more, right? And this company is going to be everywhere. Everywhere you look, you're going to see this company. You're going to see Herlistic, Shop Herlistic, Shop Herlistic. Make sure y'all go follow Shop Herlistic. And you're also going to see the merge happen and the shift in this big movement that is about to take place with Girl CEO, because now we have the CEO Society, myself, my sister Tiffany, and my friend Kiana Watson. We all came together and brought, and brought our membership communities together. And we did a huge merge where all of our communities are in one place, and we are on a mission to create a movement and a financial literacy movement for women all around the globe. You guys are going to see events. You're going to see that membership become so huge. We have so many women from different spectrums of business coming in. And you're really going to see a lot of people who are in that program just growing and part of that community growing. And I'm excited. And that's it. I'm working on some other things. I'm also a new tech founder. A lot of people are not aware of that, but you're going to hear more about some of the technology that I've created in 2022. And just really building wealth. Right now, I am positioning myself to make sure that my children who are running my companies on the back end, my children are running my warehouse, my customer service, my shipping and fulfillment. I'm making sure that they understand the inside of the business from start to finish, so that as my companies grow, that they can move up within my companies and they can know how to run them with or without me.
Oh, that's so beautiful, right? Like that is, you are building generational wealth and you are setting up the future, right? And I think as Black women, Black entrepreneurs, multicultural entrepreneurs, we got to make sure we're prioritizing that. So I love that you mentioned that. And, I'm wishing you continued success in 2022. Tell our listeners, though, where they can find you online. Because we've been talking about all that you've been doing, but where can they actually connect with you and tap into what you're doing, Ronne?
Well, the first thing that I would say is I am more active on text. So I spend a lot of time texting my community. I'm the person that I'm sending out text messages. I'm talking to people. I'm responding. So you can text social to 202-410-2903 if you love any of the gems that I've shared. I'm on text. I'm sending videos out via text. I'm sending messages out. And it's really me. People think it's like on be a bot. But if you text me, I'm like, hey, best friend. So text me and let me know if, you enjoy any of the knowledge or any parts of my story that really resonated with your spirit. Secondly, you can follow me on Instagram. All right. And my Instagram is Ronne Brown. There is no I in Ronnie. It is RONNE Brown, like the color. Okay. Come on over there and follow me and make sure you send me a DM. I know that Instagram has this new feature where you can put people on your highlight list, meaning you see them first. It's like a little red star. Did y'all know that?
I didn't know that. I know that they in my inbox, they separate stuff out. So if you're not following me, you send me a message, it goes into a different inbox. Yeah. They've been experimenting. Everyone's inboxes look different on Instagram.
So this is not inbox. This is like when you hit follow, you have the option to make sure you see my stuff first. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And you can literally put me in the highlighted options. You can see me first. All right. And you'll see all my content pop up. I'm telling y'all that you can follow me, but you need to make sure that I'm in that highlighted section where you see my content first. All right. And that's how we're going to connect. The more you see me, you turn your notifications on, you get on my lives, because I give away literally probably $1 million worth of the game on my lives. Every time I go live, you'll literally start increasing your revenue just from listening to my lives and implementing the little things that you hear me say.
I know one of our past guests, Lane Waller. I forgot her last name now. Lane Bradley.
So Lane is one of my mentees.
Yeah, I know. I know that when she mentioned that she was part of your group on the podcast, and I just watched her just, glow up over her own journey. So
yes, let me tell you.
Knows the
shout
deal.
out to Lane. Shout out to Lane. When I started working with Lane, and I'm gonna just throw this out there because I love to brag on my students. Okay, when I started working with Lane, she was probably making about $5,000 to $7,000 a month. Okay, Lane came in, she learned every single thing that I taught her. And Lane just said, you know what? I'm confident now, Delaney, love you. She's like, she got her confidence together. She started believing in herself. When I met Delaney, she was hiding behind a camera. She wouldn't even turn her camera on. All right. On social media, she would never do videos. She would never do any of those things. She came in, I worked with her for 1 month, 2 weeks. And then she came back to do a one-on-one coaching session with me. And she literally came back and said, Ronnie, we made over $55,000 this month. My company is now making over $50K a month. I'm watching Delaney travel. She's making videos from Jamaica, Lady living her best life now.
And she
I'm
has
really
kids.
proud.
So it's not like her kids are not stopping her too. So I think it's also an inspiration to moms out there as well. Like, listen, you can do it. You can find a way. Don't let these children stop your dreams, because one day you're going to be like, damn, why did I at least give it a try?
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things I just want to stress y'all, Lainey followed through. Ooh, when we say the fortune is in the follow through, a lot of people say the fortune is in the follow up. The fortune is in the follow through. Most of the time when you are not getting results, it's because you started doing some stuff, but you didn't continue doing it. You stopped. Period.
Yep. I'm writing that down. Fortune is in the follow through.
Not the follow up, the follow through. Because some people so busy trying to, let me get a customer. No, are you doing the stuff that you're supposed to do? Are you posting consistently? We haven't seen you. You got some of y'all want to post in May, and we don't see you again until July the 1st. So I'm going through family problems. Okay, friend, see how far you get in business with that attitude. You ever go to Starbucks and they like, I'm going through family problems? No, Starbucks is open. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I love this conversation, Ronnie. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you again. I really hope that our dream drivers got so much out of this. I know I have a whole paper full of notes. So I can't wait to release this episode and just have our dream drivers soak up your knowledge.
Well, I am excited. Thank you for having me. And I'm going to have you on the Girl CEO podcast. We're going to talk about what you're doing on my show.
All right. Yeah, we make it happen, girl. We will make it happen. All right, guys. So did you love Ronnie's story or what? I hope you enjoyed hearing her dream driving journey as well as her keys to success. Right now, if you love this episode, the best thing you could do is share it with your community, right? Post us on Instagram stories, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, tag Dreams and Drive. Let people know that you loved episode 292 with Ronnie and they should listen as well. We are Dreams and Drive across the board on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and use that hashtag Dreams and Drive when sharing. And if this is your first time listening and you want to hear more Dreams and Drive episodes, we have 291 episodes prior to this one, right? And more to come after this. Make sure that you're subscribed wherever you're listening so that you get notifications every time we have a new episode, guys. And it's 2022, so I want to make sure that we are having the hottest, the best, the best guest on this show. So if you know somebody, or if you're somebody with a great story to share about how you're putting a dream into drive, it doesn't matter what type of dream it is, please make sure that you're submitting our Dreams and Drive pitch form. Just go to dreamsanddrive.com/pitch. That's dreamsanddrive.com/pitch. All right, to sign up. As always, keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in episode 293. Bye, guys.